And you weren't talking tough then? You just kept it kosher?
I just kept it moving.
Yeah. But anyway, last time I checked, Clemson beat the dog shit out of Alabama. You know, the team that brought back a bunch of talent. And, yeah, Trevor Lawrence has been playing like a sophomore because he's, a sophomore. I just want to know why people think it's okay to exclude Clemson out of the top 4. Like, that's trash. Like, Alabama, if they lose to LSU, they shouldn't be allowed in the top 4. But I bet you they will be. Because, let's be honest, this playoff shit is a scam, and they need to go to 7 teams already. But anyway, whatever. Speaking of Clemson, and speaking of indentured servitude, and, whatever. Dabo Swinney is reported that he's the highest paid coach in college football at $9.3 million a year. He made more than Saban last year. Made $9.3 million last year, but there's no room in the budget to pay the students. My bad. Even when his best player, who might be a top 5 pick, Isaiah Simmons, who's like a safety/linebacker, might run a 4.4 in the draft. Who knows? Was like, it would be nice to get paid a little more, but whatever. And he said it would be nice to get paid a little more. That shit was kind of funny. They were like, wait, what do you mean a little more? You get paid? Anyway. Rest in peace to Georgia Southern freshman offensive lineman. Jordan Wiggins died at 18. His death was ruled a suicide by overdose. And I was just watching the Tyler Helinski documentary on E60 about how Helinski killed himself at Washington State. It's kind of sad.
Wait, there's a documentary on that?
Yeah, but it's like an E60. They did like 2 parts. It's sad, though. But like this 18-year-old kid, freshman at Georgia Southern, death by overdose. It's crazy. Mark Richt had a heart attack. He works for the ACC network. He's recovering. Former Miami Hurricane player.
Did he ever win a big
game at Georgia or Miami?
Yeah.
No, not really. Randy Shannon did, I think, when they beat Oklahoma. But, yeah. The Pac-12 Wars is pretty much about it for this. But, yeah, so remember when Cal was ranked and they were undefeated and everybody thought they were going to make a run, but now they lost like 3 games?
3 weeks ago? Yeah.
They lost like 3 straight games, and Oregon State somehow has 3 wins. I don't know how. And then Stanford got the shit kicked out of them by UCLA. I don't know what's happening in the Pac-12. Everybody's cannibalizing each other. And also, I think Cal and Utah play this week?
Like you were talking about it last week with all the undefeated teams, do you think there's just a new level of parity in college football? Because, I mean, we're talking about in the Pac-12. We're talking about it in Florida. I mean,
the SEC? The SEC's overrated.
Closest thing to a dominant conference, but even there, just kind of like cannibalizing each other.
LSU is the best team.
But they just cannibalize each other. They beat each other up.
I think the top teams cannibalize each other, but Georgia's not that good. They lost their game. They lost to South Carolina.
I think but what I'm saying, the reason why I say that is I'm saying
I agree
put
there's more
Georgia
parity,
in
though.
the ACC. Like,
they're still losing to Clemson.
But they're probably
second best team?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, even those second, third teams could be a one team in the
ACC teams are bad this year, except Wake Forest.
I mean, the hard thing is,
I can't believe I just said that. They're 5-1.
The hard thing is, and this is the age-old debate of like, oh, you take a second-tier team in the SEC, you put them in the Pac-12, and it's like
they clean up.
They might, but at the same time, the Pac-12 is also a different style of football. Like,
yeah,
it's played faster. Like, there's more night games.
Cal went to SEC and got a win. San Jose State got a win and gets an SEC team. So, my thing is...
But the SEC also beat the shit out of Pac-12.
Yes, they'll beat the shit out of them.
Like, every once in a while, it's just that game, and you're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have booked that non-conference, but we'll take the $10 million check and that 50.0.
Yeah.
Shout out to SC at Alabama last year and probably next year, unless they get Urban Meyer.
Don't get me started on that. Remember when USC beat Auburn on the way to start their dynasty? Yeah, nobody wants to talk about that. Shout out to Washington not being able to win a big game ever, except when they beat Stanford, which doesn't count because Stanford's bad this year, I guess. But when it just comes down to the Pac-12, like, Utah beat Arizona State, so now they pretty much have full control over their fate. And Arizona is a young-ass team. They started most of their freshmen. I mean, you look at Utah, which is ranked 13th, because they beat 17th ranked. They beat 17th ranked Arizona State last week, and you got Boise State shitting the bed by losing to BYU after being down like 30,
Fuck BYU.
25 points exactly. Because I'm really mad at you for that. Because this is perfect BYU music. Unless they think this is secular, too. Shout out to Kanye. Not really. Fuck Kanye. But, like, legitimately, when I look at
I haven't decided if I'm going to listen to the album or not.
What? Never mind. I'll wait till the rant. But anyway, when it just comes down to the Pac-12, Utah's the only hope, and I don't even know if they're capable of winning the Rose Bowl.
If you or a family member attended a Kanye Sunday service in 2019, you might have mesothelioma.
Wow.
Call, look,
or salmonella because you know Kim can't make chicken.
Call 1-800. Call 1-800.
1-800-Jesus. All I know is I don't see Utah building up well if Ohio State gets left out of the Big Four and comes to the Rose Bowl. They might beat the shit out of Utah. The Pac-12, I think, is the weakest conference as far as top teams. Utah's good, but I don't know if they beat Wisconsin, which is saying a lot because they're almost the same team. Because Utah isn't really an explosive passing team, but they can pass, and they have a stable of running backs. Shout out to Zach Moss, Jordan Wilmore, and all them other cats. Brumfield, too. They're running back. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for college football.
All right, last but not least.
Oh, fuck Notre Dame.
Last but not least, let's do a quick touchdown or turnover.
For the record, I actually finished in 3 minutes, but when
you did actually finish in 3 minutes for the first time. It was like 3:30, but I'll give it to you. So a storyline from this week: the New York Jets quarterback Sam Darnold was mic'd up on Monday night versus the Patriots. Essentially, he got caught saying that he was seeing ghosts because the Patriots defense is just so good.
And they were playing Kid Cudi in the stadium.
Pressure. Maybe. Speaking of the Kanye reference. But, yeah.
I did that on purpose.
So, is it a touchdown or a turnover? Well, let me back up. So, after that, Le'Veon Bell pretty much went to Twitter and was like, yeah,
that's my quarterback.
Players don't like being mic'd up. It's kind of bullshit. It sucks. And that's
a personal conversation that made him look bad.
And they also kind of did Sam Darnold dirty specifically because those kind of things get said all the time, but you never see it.
You never hear it.
Except for with this young player who's been hurt and he's a Cali guy, and so they're trying to single him out, whatever the case. So, is it a touchdown or a turnover that we're talking about just overall players being mic'd?
It's a touchdown. And I also just want to redshirt this for a future episode. USC quarterbacks who are really great should just stop and refuse to be drafted by the Jets.
Or just go to the XFL.
Just say, you know what? I'd rather drop and be like a Saints second-round pick than to be a first-round pick for the Jets at this point. They're terrible.
Jetsy goes sometimes. Jetsy goes sometimes.
The Jets are ghosts sometimes.
Is that the title of the show?
The Jets are ghosts sometimes?
Yep.
Probably. The offensive line clearly has salmonella. We'll get to that next topic. But, yeah, it's a touchdown because that's only a thing for the audience. That's only a thing for the audience. They only do that for TV because people, fans, the audience, the viewing public want to see that in-depth interaction because it makes them feel like they're more part of the game. I guarantee you, if it was just when you think of a high school game, do you hear what the coaches and players are saying on the sideline?
No.
Do you give a shit?
No.
College football too, except for when Tennessee's head coach chewed out their quarterback from doing that horrible audible where Alabama returned it for like a 98-yard touchdown.
I honestly don't really give a shit. Like,
we should stop cursing.
I don't give a shit either way. Like, honestly, between like I've always known that they're not going to play something that is really like live and candid. You know what I'm saying?
I've had coaches get into fist fights on the sideline while we were playing. Everybody acted like we just went about the game.
What I'm trying to say though is like, I don't know. I just felt
it doesn't affect your viewing experience.
Besides that, it's just like I always knew it wasn't real anyways. Like if the purpose was to show me like a real environment on the sideline, like I already knew that wasn't it. I already knew that was a perspective, an interpretation, a framing. Like so, I don't know. I just never really cared. Like I've never really cared about miking up. Like yeah, it's funny to look on a meme sometimes, or like yeah, I like it in terms of that. But like honestly, I really couldn't care less. Like they're only going to show me what they want to show me. I guess you see.
I have $1 billion idea, and maybe I should not say it, but I'm gonna help the XFL out. Only put mics on the backups, because those are the best conversations.
Oh yeah, 100%.
After party guy, who got the drugs guy, who got the food guy, is important, because where are you gonna eat and get something to drink and recoup after the game?
Well, in the NBA, because I intern with the Clippers, like I know they eat during games.
Not supposed to.
I wonder if football players do.
Football players definitely eat during games.
But like on the sideline, like no, I'm talking about in the pros, like full on, like just whip out a burger and eat a burger right there, or is it like
from Mark
you
Sanchez,
walk outside, like you walk by the tunnel, like you walk to the locker room, like do you have to wait till halftime, like.
Sanchez and other guys said that they sneak. Some guys, I remember in the replacements with Keanu Reeves, they talked about, like, they showed, like, cats eating. Oh, boy, that one Japanese lineman was eating sushi before the game. And then he went on the field and threw up. Like, that happens.
I can lift weights and I can run after I eat, but just football in terms of the contact, like.
I never ate because Hell Week, you would always throw up. And they would always say, during at Lawndale at least, never go. We would have our practice in the morning and then the second practice in the afternoon. Never go to In-N-Out. You're gonna shit yourself and die. If you go to In-N-Out after the first practice, you're gonna shit yourself and die, or you're gonna throw up. And every time somebody went to In-N-Out, we're like, oh, they shit themselves and died.
Bro, I used to have so much anxiety for 2 weeks. Yeah, for those 2 weeks. And now they don't even have double days.
I feel cheated. I'm like, if only they didn't have double days, I would have not gotten injured the last day of Hell Week.
That shit was fun, though. Like,
it really was. Sleeping in the different rooms, the Kit Kat bags.
Because it's like 15 days of like your mom felt sorry for you, so she like makes you food. Like there's food ready when you get home.
Always.
Like, there's water and like you have Gatorade in the fridge, even though you never have Gatorade. Like the rest of the season, you won't have Gatorade in the fridge when you come home. But
your sisters or siblings just leave you alone.
They let you watch the TV. Like you can play the remote,
play video games in the room all night. Nobody says anything to you. If you even like have the energy,
you get to hang out with your friends during practice, between practices, go to their houses, eat their shit,
and then sometimes if you have that,
to their sisters.
If you have that, wow, we're gonna.
I was supposed to sneak that one in there.
That's the problem with sneaking someone in, somebody's sister. That's an issue. Don't leave that alone. But like, there's that moment when you have like a demon possesses your body and you have a horribly painful cramp out of nowhere, or Charlie horse. Those are always fun. And someone laughs at you. They're like, "Oh fuck!" And all you just hear is somebody writhing in pain, holding your hamstring.
Like, fall on the seat because you can't like sit down like a normal person.
When you literally just crouch up on a pile of bags and just lay there and pass out, and you walk in, everybody's like, "Turn the lights off."
No, that's the 300-pound club, bro.
No, everyone did that. No, bro. Skill players, we had the Kit Kat bags, so you stack up like 3 of them, lay it in horizontally, and you just lay out there like you're just on a deserted island.
No, I know what you're talking about.
You turn the lights off.
I only seen people like over 300 pounds do that.
No, skill players were kings of doing that shit. Get a real comfortable corner. Get all the bags, stack them up on top of each other, put a blanket on top of your head. It's night.
That dude that like
at 2 o'clock in the daytime, or no, 12 o'clock.
What you're talking about is that dude who lives with his aunt, quotation marks, But really lives like 30 miles away, so he can't go home in between practices. It just